Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Wednesday, guys. And tonight we are taking a look at ticker NVDA. You might know them better as NVIDIA. NVIDIA Corporation was founded in 1993 by Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem, with the first office opening in Santa Clara, California. Now they're publicly traded on the NASDAQ and have a market value over $5 trillion. Yes, that's a T. Trillion dollars. NVIDIA is in the semiconductors industry in the information technology sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of NVIDIA's competitors are Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, Intel, ticker INTC, and Broadcom, ticker AVGO. We're going to review NVIDIA's earnings, their websites, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's go to these earnings. Bam. All right, we're doing a lot better. NVIDIA Corporation, ticker symbol NVDA, the $5.4 trillion company, reported its first quarter fiscal 2027 earnings on Wednesday, May 20th. They have a 52-week high of $236.54, which took place on May 14th, and a 52-week low of $129.16 that occurred on May 23rd, which is a trading range of $107.38, and they closed today at $223.47. NVIDIA earnings report beat on the top line, reporting revenue of $81.6 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $79.5 billion. And they beat on the bottom line as strong AI data center demand drove exceptional profitability. EPS was higher than the analysts and market expectations of $1.79 when they reported a GAAP EPS of $1.87. NVIDIA reported a GAAP net income of $58.3 billion, which is higher than the $18.8 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 210.5%. So for the first fiscal quarter of 2026, their net profit was approximately 67.8% lower than it is compared to now a year later. After the earnings were released after the market closed, wait a minute, I was a little fast. The earnings were released after the market closed, followed by a 5 p.m. Eastern Time conference call. As far as guidance, management guided second quarter fiscal 2027 revenue to $91 billion. That 52-week low compared to today's closing of $223.47 represents an increase of 73% over about a year. So if someone invested $1,000 in May at that 52-week low of $129.17, they would be seeing a gain of $730.05. Oh my gosh. Woo! All right, we got through it. Now let's go here. Let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? To find those answers, we browse 4 key areas on the website: the homepage, page for their goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go visit NVIDIA's website. All right, bam, go here. All right, we're on the NVIDIA website, and I'm going to browse around to see what we're going to look at. And I did the research, so we'll talk about that just in case we miss anything, or you might be a little confused about what it is they do. We did the research, so we'll get to that after we browse the website. So at the top, I really don't see anything, so let's browse over. Artificial intelligence. And the last time I was talking about NVIDIA, I could not figure out for the life of me what it was that I knew them for. It was the graphics cards. So their microchips are in those graphics cards, and they make microchips in the computer sector. But they don't, it doesn't seem like they compete with AMD and Intel and AMD when it comes to the processors that go directly on the motherboard. I could be mistaken. But I know that the graphics cards, like right here, this has microchips in it. And that was like their specialty as far as I knew. So we're going to look at that in my research and talk about what we find on this website. So data center and cloud computing. From the cloud to the office, to the data center, to the edge, NVIDIA provides solutions that deliver breakthrough performance on enterprise AI HPC workloads at any scale, driving business decisions in real time and resulting in faster time to value. And there's a lot of stuff to browse through on their website, guys. So remember, the links to this website are down in the description for your convenience to read through all of this stuff, okay? So here we go. About NVIDIA. NVIDIA pioneered accelerated computing to tackle challenges no one else can solve. Our work in AI and digital twins is transforming the world's largest industries and profoundly impacting society. All right, now we're at the bottom of the page. Let me go ahead and take me off the screen. I don't want to block any of this information. So we're definitely going to go to About Us. We're going to go to Investors. We're going to go to Careers. And that's it. That's where we're going to go. So let's go to About Us to start there. I'm going to try to keep this moving smooth and fast. So our body of work. NVIDIA pioneered, let me take me off the screen because it's blocking you. NVIDIA pioneered accelerated computing to tackle challenges no one else can solve. I believe we already read that. That sounds familiar. And as we scroll through this, put me back on the screen. This is going to be a lot of stuff to read over. So anything that says mission, vision, or purpose, I'm going to go ahead and read that if I see it. So we're just going to scroll over and see what comes up. Reinventing modern graphics. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Connecting our physical and digital worlds. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Supercharging healthcare. With NVIDIA, healthcare institutions can harness the power of AI and high-performance computing to define the future of medicine. So it's a lot of different sectors that benefit from NVIDIA, AI, and their customer base. I mean, the possibilities for their clientele is pretty much endless, being as so almost every business is incorporating AI into their business structure. Accelerated computing is sustainable computing. Data centers are already about 1 to 2% of global electricity consumption and growing. This is not sustainable for operating budgets and our planet. Acceleration is the best way to reclaim power and achieve sustainability and net zero. Okay, now this was something that I started realizing like maybe 2 months ago. Computing pulls a lot of power. So another industry that would benefit from this AI boom that we're dealing with and going through right now is the energy sector. Now, what's going on with energy, people are focusing on the gas prices going up and thinking that energy is just going up because of that. That's not the only thing that's driving up energy. These data centers need their own power grid sometimes. They have power infrastructures built around their data centers just to power them. And energy companies benefit from that. So that's a sector that some people are overlooking when it comes to trading and investing. All right. So let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep scrolling. Where we at? Where we at? I'm on the screen. All right. Like no place you've ever worked, take me off the screen. NVIDIA is reshaping the future of computing. We've built a culture where people can do their life's work. We are a learning machine. The mission is boss. Everyone has a voice. Jensen Huang. And I pronounced that all wrong until I looked it up to make sure I pronounced it right. I thought it was Wang because it was an A in it. But anyway, here we go. Let's go to careers. That's where we need to go. Careers. Now, when we go to careers, we're looking for the benefits, guys. We want to know how well they take care of their employees. We are looking for benefits. So like no place you've ever worked. So what we're going to do, we're going to scroll over this page and see if we can find anything, and then we'll click around at the top. Usually we get lucky up there. Follow your passion, lead a movement. You'll solve some of the world's hardest problems and discover never before seen ways to improve the quality of life for people everywhere, from healthcare to robots. So they're showing you how wide their range of things they solve and deal with can be. Explore life at NVIDIA, help us transform entire industries. AI, auto, hardware, meet more teams, join us. Okay, we're at the bottom. So we're going to go to the top. We're going to click around, see what we can find. Company. Nope. Our work. Nope. Careers, benefits. Bam. There we go. So let's go to benefits. Oh, and they also talk about, let me go back. I like this when companies talk about this as well. How we hire. I like how they make it easy for candidates to prepare before they actually apply with the company. I think that's cool when companies do that. So let's go to benefits, which is going to browse over it. So they talk about new hires, interns, learn about benefits for new hires, learn about benefits for interns, benefit highlights. So they're just going over some of the things that they do. Caring for your health, time off and holidays, support programs, take time for your preventative care, more benefits to explore, and financial resources. All right. That's a lot to dig through. So you can dig through that on your own time. Remember, the links for this is down for this website are down in the description for your convenience. Now let's go to investors, and then we can get ready to go to the charts. We might have to go back one more time. All right. Yep. Here we go. So it's behind my image. Let me show you right here. So we go to investors and make sure that we're zoomed in. Put me back on the screen. I'm going to go to 150. All right, there we go. So we see the stock information over to the side. We're going to browse over this page, and then we're going to look for the stock quote and the charts to see if they offer that on their website. Just browsing over it. Okay. So right here is down at the bottom. They made it easy. Stock quote, and they have other investment tools that you can click on and use right here. Okay. So let's go to stock quote and chart. I just clicked it. We waiting on it to load up. There we go. So here's the stock quote. They trade on the NASDAQ. Look like they're missing the Q. That's supposed to be NASDQ. But anyway, NVIDIA, they're going to ticker symbol, stock quote, stock chart, and we saw the other tools. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go here. Bam. All right, we got that done. Let's go here. Now let's go to the website. All right, NVIDIA does have customers and partners that are listed in the S&P 500. Some notable names include Microsoft, ticker MSFT, Amazon, ticker AMZN, and Alphabet, ticker GOOGL. All right, so that was some of the research that I did prior to the live stream. Now we can go to this. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders can lose critical details and advanced platform features using apps on phones instead of software on computers or websites. So keep in mind, trading from a smartphone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To access the most details, it's best to use a full trading platform. Watch these streams on a computer or TV and only use your phone as a last resort. Now let's look at NVIDIA on the charts. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. Now, here's NVIDIA. Let me take me off the screen. Here's their 52-week low of $129.16. Here's their 52-week high of $236.54. And we are looking at a 1-year daily chart. Put me back on the screen. We can see that right here, 1 year daily. So we're not going to do the technicals starting from this chart. We're going to go to a 10-year weekly chart and start our technicals from a larger time frame. Okay. So NVIDIA is hitting record highs. So we don't have any historical price data to go above this 10-year high, which is also the 52-week high of $236.54. But I do see some technicals that we can use to look for some price levels, okay? So I'm gonna use this tool, price level. Let's go here. I'm seeing this as potential support. And now he was like, where you get that from, guy? Why you just drawing on the chart anyway? Anywhere. No, I'm not. So let me show you. This area right here tested that price level and it wasn't able to get above it. Right here, that's kind of wide, but you get the idea. This candle right here closed above it, and then the next week it came down to kind of test it. It didn't touch it, but it came close. So this $149.65 was tested as support and as resistance in these two sections that I drew, okay? Now I'm going to say that this area, let's do another price level. I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to say it's like the body of that candle. So we're using the body, the open on this green candle right here. We can see how many candles came close to that price level of $168.78. So let me draw that so you can see what I'm saying. You see how much that was respected as support throughout this range? And then this candle, this weekly candle closed below it, but this candle opened right on it, created a wick, but closed above it during that week. And then it's been trending up ever since. Okay, this is the week candle that we're in right now, this red candle. So being as so today is Wednesday, we got 2 more days to finish forming that candle, Thursday and Friday. Okay, so if I was going to put one more level as support, since the price is up here, I'm going to say the body of this green candle right here on the weekly chart. And if I wanted to get really specific, it would be a zone. Okay, I don't need that. It shouldn't be right there. Let me delete this. Remove drawing right here from this wick right here to the body of that green candle. That's going to be my support resistance zone. And I'm going to expand it a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I expand this over to the right, so we're going to take this to December 1st. Okay, and then we're going to take this back, go back a little bit to January 1st, then click OK. We'll see it stretch out. So we can see that those shadows tested it here, and we can see that it was tested here. Now, as far as resistance, that 52-week high and 10-year high is going to be the price level for resistance. So we've done our technicals on the weekly chart. And just in case you're curious, what are those studies that he's using on the chart? This is a 200-week simple moving average, the dashed white line. And the dashed green line is a 9-week simple moving average. Okay, so we're about to go over to the 1 year daily chart. And now we can see we have our technicals done already. And now that we're looking at the daily chart, this is a 9-day simple moving average, the dashed green line, because now we're looking at daily candles. This is a 200-day simple moving average. And just in case, if I didn't explain it, I'm going to show you where to look. This area right here. It's telling you that it's programmed to the close. It's a 9. And it's programmed to the close on the SMA, simple moving average. That's what that stands for. And then the 200 is telling you the average time that it's using. 200 candles, 9 candles, and it's programmed to the close. Now, you need to know what time frame we're looking at. So that's right over here. This is the ticker, 1 year, 1 day, trading on the NASDAQ. Then this section right here, date, open, high, low, close, and range. So you'll know where to look. So I don't have to keep going back and forth, just letting you know where to look at to find these different things. All right, so clear that off, go here. Now let's go ahead and zoom in because we got our technicals done. We could talk about where we are today. Okay, I'm about to zoom in and we're going to get the stock quote for NVIDIA and talk about the volume. And since they had earnings today, it was announced after the market closed. So we're going to look at how the price responded in the after hours. I'm going to show you how to do that on the Thinkorswim charts. I don't have that disclaimer up. Let me put that one up, the one that talks about Thinkorswim. There we go. All right. So here's today's candle right here with NVIDIA. And we can see that looks like a doji. It's like a doji, and it's right here. It closed almost right on top of the 9-day simple moving average. So when I mouse over and I'm going to look up there, so the simple moving average was $223.19. And today they closed at, let's go ahead and do the stock quote for NVIDIA. Let's do that. So what I did, I went to settings. I'm going to cut on my floating data box, click apply. And when I use the crosshairs to mouse over today's candle, that's giving me that information about today. So let's go ahead and read that. So NVIDIA opened today at $223.18. They had a high of $226.13. They had a low of $220.50. And they closed today at $223.47, which was a trading range of $5.63. Now, when we look at the trading volume, guys, this is insane. Their trading volume for today, the amount of shares that they traded was 184 million shares of this stock was traded today. So that's the box down at the bottom. I'm going to try to stay over it right now here. This box, that's where we're getting at, okay? But now we need to see, what do they trade on average? So let me take the floating data box off. Okay, and now I'm going to take me off the screen too, so we can go over here. So we're going to look at my volume labels. The average trading volume for NVIDIA, their average trading volume in a daily trading session is 179 million. So they do numbers like this all the time. I thought that was high. So this is about what, 5. It's about 5 million more than what they normally do. Now, remember, this is before they made the earnings announcement. So they're going to be responding to the earnings tomorrow, Thursday. They're going to be responding to that. So the previous volume, so this was Tuesday's volume, 140 million shares were traded during that daily session. So we can see, now we're going to talk about the volume rank percentile. Let me put me back on the screen. So DA stands for days above, DB stands for days below. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 89 days had higher volume than today. That's how we read that volume label. Now the volume rank percentile, 64.7%, means that today's volume was higher than 64.7% of those 252 candles in the most recent daily trading sessions, okay? Now, I wanted to show you how we look at how the price responded after earnings were announced. So right here, that's the bid and the ask. So we can see that it's trading lower than what it actually closed at during a regular trading session at $223.47. Now it's trading around $221. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take us over to the 1 minute, the intraday 1 minute chart. So these are 1 minute candles. And we can see the price went crazy after the market closed today. This gray shaded area are the extended hours. So this is 4 p.m. and beyond. That's what we're looking at right here. This was today's regular trading session, the black area. And just in case you're using Thinkorswim and you don't see this the way it looks on your chart, I'm going to show you how to expand this in the settings. So you go to the settings, then you go to equities. Right here where it says show extended hours trading session, I'm blocking it. Let me take me off the screen. My apologies. Right here. This box has to be checked. If it's not checked, it's going to look like this. You'll just see the regular hours. Now, if you want to see the extended hours, you go to settings, hit the equities tab, and then select the show extended hours trading session, apply, and boom, that's how we got it. So we can see that during the extended hours, NVIDIA hit a low of $216.25, and they hit a high or reached a high of $226.93 after the earnings were announced, or after hours, because they announced it after the hours. All right, so we got that. Now, we covered everything we need to cover with NVIDIA, I believe, so we can go ahead and move on. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's go here. So we covered that. Now let's go here back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description, as well as the link on the screen. All right, so let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company in the S&P 500 index. Now let's look at today. Oh, I kept reading too fast. All right, let's go back to the charts and get to the SPY. All right, so here we go. Bam, we're back on the charts. Let's put the SPY ticker up. Bam. All right, now we're gonna go back to back to the 1 year daily chart. We're gonna zoom out, and right here in the symbol box, we're gonna type in SPY. So we pulled up that ETF, and we can see the spider S&P 500. The information is right here. Now, I know this looks like we got a lot of crazy stuff going on the charts, okay? So let me zoom in to where we are. Let me take me off the screen just in case it's your first time watching what we got going on over here. So here's the 52-week low for the SPY, and that's $575.60. And we've been hitting record highs. So this was last week. Yeah, this was last week. This was Thursday of last week. Let me zoom in. This might be hard for you to see. So there's the 52-week high of $749.53. And that was last week on Thursday. So this is how I'm counting it. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday. And then we can also cut on our floating data box and get the specific date if we wanted to do it that way, just by mousing over it. So that was May 14th. When we had that 52-week high, okay? Now, here's the other thing. I found out how to take some of this stuff off the chart. Let me see. So down here where it says drawing set, we can change it to default. I think default is when I removed them all. It didn't do anything. Oh, it did. It took the levels off. So this is just the gaps in the zones. But if you wanted to, they don't have a hide feature. That's why I'm showing you that. So you would have to create a drawing set. What you think about now? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull your comment up. So now let's zoom in and talk about this. So we got a comment from J-Rock. So I'm going to pull you on the screen, put this comment up. So your question is what you think about now. So now is a ticker. That's actually a ticker. So I'm kind of confused. I think you're talking about the ticker. So I know that company is also listed in the S&P 500. So what I'll do, I'll pull that up if that's what you're talking about now. Let me show people. ServiceNow is that company. Or you could be asking me like, what you think about what's going on with the SPY now? I know it's like a wordplay thing, but let's go back to the SPY. You clarify that, and then I will comment on that once you clarify it, because I don't want to get too far off from what we're covering right now. But just let me know which one you meant. Were you actually talking about that company as a ticker, or ask me what did I mean about SPY right now? But thank you for the comment. All right. So today, the SPY did get back above the 9-day simple moving average. We're looking at the 1 year daily chart, and it did close above the high of the low day. So since this pullback from Thursday, it did close above this low day. So it created a hold. I got the comment. It's about to load up. ServiceNow. Yes, sir. Okay, got you. Perfect. So it looks like it found support on that $731.83 level. And that's what I'm seeing as far as the technicals. As far as resistance, we had a small gap here between Thursday's low and Friday's high of last week. So that's what the yellow zones are on my charts. Those are gaps. So I'm seeing possible resistance here at this gap and the 52-week high. I'm going to talk about ServiceNow in 1 second. Let me give everybody the quote about this. We talk about the volume. And before I go into the next segment, I will talk about ServiceNow. So here's J-Rock's comment. ServiceNow, yes, sir. So we're going to get to his question in one moment after we cover the SPY. All right, so I'm going to cut on my floating data box. Bada boom, bada bing. We're going to mouse over this. Okay, now The SPY opened today at $735.71. They had a high of $741.87. They had a low of $733.89, and they closed today at $741.25, which was a trading range of $7.98. Now, when we look at the trading volume, they traded 47 million shares of this ETF today. Now, let's look at the volume labels. Break this down, and we can cut the floating data box off. There we go. All right, so the average trading volume for the SPY is 75 million shares of this ETF in a daily trading session. Today, they did the 45 million, and then on Tuesday, they did 54. So we can see that the volume is decreasing, but I noticed, and it's both below average, but I noticed when I was looking at the technicals that the volume increases as it does the pullback. When it was coming down, it was like the volume was going up. But when it's going up and it's making these new highs, it's on lower and lower volume. So just keep an eye on the volume when you're watching the direction of the SPY, of that ETF. Okay, so we covered the volume. And now for a brief moment, I'm going to pull up now for J-Rock. So service now. So service now, we've actually covered this before, Jay. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you can see my technicals on the chart right now from when we covered it. Oh man, I don't know which live stream we covered it on. I wish I knew off the top of my head, but you can go on my YouTube channel and you can actually go through the walkthrough when I covered it, because I don't want to deviate from our format tonight. But I am going to do Q&As on the weekend. So if you tune back in on the weekend and you want to go through this and we can discuss it and chop it up on the Q&A, I would definitely appreciate it. We do that one day on the weekend. So I like to try to stay on format throughout the week and address the questions, but I definitely appreciate the comment. So you can see that we did cover it before. So if you don't want to wait, it's on the main page of the YouTube channel. We covered it on one of them. I don't know which one it was. I can actually put it in the comments. I can look for it when we finish the live stream tonight, but I got to keep it moving. All right, so we covered the SPY. Now we can do this. Now let's look at today's winners and losers. First, we're going to take a look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. So let's go over here to the S&P 500 index. Pull this back up. We got the right disclaimer up. Yeah, so we can take off the SPY. We're done with that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over to the Market Watch tab. And we are looking at the biggest losers. So ticker HAS. Pull them up on the screen. I didn't mean to pull the website up. Give me a second. Here we go. There we go. Ticker HAS, Hasbro Incorporated. Hasbro Incorporated. They lost 8.83% today. So their previous close was $97.18, and they closed today at $88.60. So let's pull up the calculator and do a hypothetical. So if someone had invested, let's say $900, and they lost that 8.83%, we multiply this 8.83, negate it, hit the percentage. They would have lost $79.47 of their $900 investment. We add the principal back to it, the $900. So they would be left with $820.53. Bam. Thanks. I would definitely check that out. J-Rock, man, listen, you just don't know. I work hard doing these live streams, man. So I definitely appreciate the comment, and I hope it helps you out from getting this educational content that we putting out here consistently Monday through Friday, man. You're very welcome. All right. Evening, homie. Okay. All right. Is that Toxics? Appreciate the comment. Appreciate you. Elbow cough. Okay. Got you. All right. Got you. All right. Now let's move on. Let's go to, we need to go to the Analyze tab. So let me put the ticker for the loser back on the screen. I keep pulling up their website. We're going to get to the website in a minute. So we have them selected. Let's go over here to the Analyze tab, and we can see that Hasbro Incorporated is in the consumer discretionary sector. So what we've been doing, we like to see how that sector is performing and that industry is performing when we see the biggest winner and the biggest loser. So we're going to go over to the Market Watch tab, and we're going to click on Visualize sub tab so we can pull up the heat map. All right. Look like the market ain't do that bad in the S&P 500. It's a few green. I mean, it's a few reds in there, but it seems to me it's a little bit more green than red. So we're going to go to the consumer discretionary sector, and we're going to look for Hasbro. It must be very small because I don't see it off the back. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Am I looking at? Yeah, consumer discretionary. So we go to market watch, visualize, consumer discretionary. So we might have to break these open and look because it might be very small. So I know it's not going to be that one. Is it specialty retail? Nope. No, it's not automobiles. Broadline retail? Nope. Distributors? No. I know it's not that. Household durables? No. Leisure products? Why is it in leisure products? It's the only company in there, guys. So it's in the consumer discretionary sector, and it's in the leisure products industry. So it's not anything else in that category, in that industry, for us to compare it to. But there it is. That was why it was hard to see. It's like they're in a league of their own. So let's go back over here to the Analyze tab. Take me off the screen, and let's talk about the company profile. All right, here we go. All right, so Hasbro Incorporated, here's their website. The website link is also down in the description for your convenience. So let's read a little bit of this. Hasbro Incorporated operates as a toy and game company in the United States, Europe, Canada, Mexico, Latin America, Australia, China, and Hong Kong. The company offers trading cards and collectibles, action figures, arts and crafts, and creative play products, dolls, play sets. We'll be reading all day, okay? I ain't gonna do you like that. So let's go ahead and go to their website. Here we go. Put me back on the screen. There I am. Change the disclaimer. There we go. All right. Now, we are going to browse over their website. Guys, they play toys. One of my favorite board games is Monopoly. I love it. So our company, let's see. Well, we got the investors information right here at the top. We got careers right here at the top. And we have our company right here at the top. So it looks like everything we need is right there at the top, but we're going to browse over the website about Hasbro. Hasbro is a leading games, IP, and toy company whose mission is to create joy and community through the magic of play. With 165 years of expertise, Hasbro delivers groundbreaking play experiences and reaches more than 1 billion fans annually around the world. Through physical and digital games, video games, toys, licensed consumer products, location-based entertainment, film, TV, and more. And then we can see all of their different brands. Man, I didn't know this was all of their brands. So you got Play-Doh, Peppa Pig. If I see Transformers, My Little Pony, this is crazy. I remember them when I was a young fella. I'm about to pull you up so everybody can see your comment. I remember them when I was a young fella. Been around for a while. Absolutely, man. I miss the fact that, look, G.I. Joe, I wish kids played more with toys, man. It's good for the imagination. This video game stuff and being online and playing in the house like frisbees, go outside, fly a kite, run, trip and fall, climb a tree, ride a bike, do something. And then like the little toys with the wrestling toys we used to have, the punching men. I mean, man, we had fun as kids. Yeah, 165 years. That's why I enjoy going to these websites. Like it's so interesting to me to go to these websites and just look around and see. We can learn so much just by visiting the websites instead of just going and looking at a ticker and being like, oh, okay, I think it's a good investment or I think it's a good trade, and then trading like that. Like learn about what you investing in or trading. I know it helped me. So our mission is to create joy and community through the magic of play. Let me put the company back up. There we go. Our business, Hasbro Consumer Products, Wizards and Digital Gaming, Entertainment. Our leadership, the leadership of our company shares a deep commitment to creativity, storytelling, integrity, and inclusion. Okay, so here are some of those people. And you can put a face to the names that you can pull up in the SEC filings as well. So here's some awards they've gotten and things like that. So we know that the other things we need to look at will be right at the top of the screen. So let's go back to the top. I believe this page is our company page. It is because it didn't change. So let's go ahead and go to careers and let's look for the benefits. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing. I definitely would appreciate it. So we started telling stories 10 decades ago and we haven't stopped since. Okay. So our company, what we're looking for the benefits. We are creative. Did it zoom us out? Let's double check that. Yeah, let's zoom back in, make it easy for you guys to see. We are passionate. We are super fans and adventurers and innovators, collectors, story builders, and fervent believers in the power of play. We are inclusive. We do the right thing. We're fans of what we do, our stories. And remember, links to this website is down in the description for your convenience. If it's something you want to dig into and I move too fast or whatever, you can do that. So I don't see anything that jumps out at me about the benefits, guys. Maybe search jobs. I can try that before we move on. Okay, this popped up on a different screen, so I'm gonna drag this over so you can see it. But it doesn't look like it says anything about the benefits. But I'm just gonna let you see what came up, and then we can look for the investor relations so we can get ready to move on, okay? I don't see anything about the benefits. So I think this is just going to be about a whole bunch of job openings that they have. Okay, so let's close that out. And let's go to investors. We struck out on finding the benefits. So stock information. There we go. So here are the other, let me take me off the screen so you can see it. Here are the other investor tools that they have right here. So investment calculator, historic stock lookup, and it looks like they do pay a dividend. So let's go to the stock quote and chart. Okay, put me back on the screen. Of course, it popped up in a different window, guys. So give me 1 second. Reject non-essential cookies. Pull this over so you can see it. Blow this up. Full screen. Zoom in. And we're about to get ready to do the technicals on the charts. Something just happened. Give me 1 second. We got to back this up. Must have accidentally clicked something. Okay. So F11, blow that up, zoom in, bam, bam. All right. So here's the stock quote. Here's the stock chart that they offer on the website. And we're good. We can go ahead and let's go to my research that I had found when I did the research about this company. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't make sure I did that. Here we go. Bam. All right. Now, the biggest loser research. So Hasbro, ticker HAS, when it comes to their goods and services, they create and market play and entertainment experiences globally, offering products and services such as toys and action figures, board and tabletop games, digital gaming and trading cards, and entertainment licensing and media. And looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, notable names include the Walt Disney Company, ticker DIS, Walmart, ticker WMT, and Target, ticker TGT. And also, I want you guys to know a little fun fact. Ticker WMT, Walmart is also, oh, come on, Sam's Club. They're owned by the same company. All right. So we got that. Now, let's go to the charts. Think or swim here. Bam. Got that. Get the right disclaimer. All right. Now, we have Hasbro pulled up. Let's go to the charts. Bam. Ooh, it looks like they gap down. It's not a gap. It's not a gap, but it was a gap, but the highs and the lows crossed. So it closed the gap today. Let me take me off the screen. We are looking at a 1 year daily chart. So their 52-week low was $64 or is $64.74. Their 52-week high is $106.98. Let's see what's going on here. So they had earnings, it looks like, on the 13th. But they had increased volume today, which we'll get to in a minute. So I'm going to zoom in. Let's go to the 10-year weekly chart. Oh, wow. So here's the candle for this week. This one right here. And it already looks like it's testing the lows from these previous weeks right here. So I'm going to use this low on this candle right here as support. Okay. And what I like about that price level, and even though we're not zoomed out all the way, I just want to show you this. It was tested here. It closed above it on this week because we're looking at a weekly chart. Let me put me back on the screen. We're looking at a 10-year weekly chart. So this week right here. Oh, I know why I didn't put me back on the screen. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. This week right here, it closed above that $87.99. This week, it tested it. You can see the shadow right there on that, or the wick on that candle. Then we can see that this price level was also tested over here a few times. This week, that week, and then this week. So today it closed right there, which we'll talk about when we go on the 1 year daily chart. All right. Got some more comments. Mattel would be the other comparison. Absolutely. Mattel's revenue is larger than Hasbro's. Okay. That's interesting to know. Let me pull that up on the screen so people can see it. Here's Toxic's first comment. Wait a minute. Bam, bam. Go here. This mouse so funny acting. Mattel would be the other comparison. And then he said, or she, Mattel's revenue is larger than Hasbro. Okay, so if you want to look up comparisons, we'll deviate for a quick moment. I'm going to look at this tool that I like to use, okay? So let's put The Biggest Loser back up on the screen real quick. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance, there we go. Blow that up so we can close this out, put this back. Just to go into deeper detail about what they brought up real quick. So we talked about Hasbro. So let's say we wanted to look at some comparison or comparable companies. So we put in the ticker HAS. I'm using Yahoo Finance. It's a free tool. So I'm going to scroll down on the left-hand side where it says profile. You can click that. And then let me zoom in. Oh, we already zoomed in. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, and right here where it says related tickers, they brought up Mattel. That's the first one that came up. So here are some other companies, some publicly traded companies that they consider to be either competitors or peers of the company that you're looking up. So bam, they were right. We just fact checked it. Okay. That's the first one that came up with related tickers. So appreciate the comment. Now let's go back to the charts. Here we go. Now we still looking at, let me remove this price level. That was random. Remove. Okay. We are still looking at the 10-year weekly chart. Make sure everything is right. Yeah, we're good. So let's zoom out. I'm going to say before we zoom out. Yeah, I'm going to zoom out so I can see some more. So we can also see that even though we were focused on this area right here, that price level was tested here. It was tested here. And it was tested here. We can definitely see, oh man, it's clean right here. You can definitely see it was resistance over here. It took a while, even that area. So that price level is significant when it comes to this stock. Now, as far as support recently and resistance, we can just zoom in and knock this out right now. This is going to be simple to me, at least from what I'm seeing. Nope, that's not what we need. Delete that. So here's what I'm seeing as far as the technicals. Let's zoom in. It looks like it's having problems with this price level right here, the high of this candle. So that's $98.40. We can see that it was tested a few weeks, even here. Right here was support. Right here was resistance. That's when it became resistance. These are weekly candles, don't forget. So it was being tested there. And if I'm looking for support beyond that $87.99, I'm seeing support at $82.51. Because we can see it was slightly, it didn't quite reach it, but it was tested there and it was tested here. So those are the technicals that I'm seeing as far as support and resistance. And if it gets above this 98.40, if it gets above that 98.40, then I'm looking for resistance to be here at this weekly high right here. Okay. So those are my technicals using the 10-year weekly chart. Now I'm going to go to the 1 year daily chart, and we already got our technicals done. So now we can get the stock quote for Hasbro. So let's go to settings, cut on the floating data box. There we go. So Hasbro opened today at $89.01. They had a high of $92.21. They had a low of $87.14. And they closed today at $88.60, which was a trading range of $5.07. When we look at the trading volume, they traded 5.6 million shares of their stock today. Now we're going to go over here to the volume labels. Take me off the screen. Take off the floating data box. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so the average trading volume for Hasbro is about 2 million shares in a daily trading session. So today was definitely higher. And then we see the trading volume for Tuesday was 3 million. So we see the volume increasing. Did they have earnings? There was an earnings call today. This is kind of weird. Looks like they had earnings announced on the 13th, but they had an earnings call today. That's kind of weird. So maybe they reacted to that call. Was this announced before? Yeah, and it was announced before the market opened. We can see that at the 7:30. And that says Central, so that's going to be 8:30 Eastern time. So before the market opened, they had an earnings call, and maybe they reacted to it. Okay, that's what we see in there. So let's finish up the volume rank percentile. So only one day out of the most recent 252 trading days had higher volume than today. So that's why the volume rank percentile is 99.6%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher than 99.6% of those daily candles. Okay. Now with the price, it gapped down because yesterday it closed here. So this was Wednesday. This was Tuesday's close. The top of the body of this candle. And then this body, the top of this body is the open on this red candle. So that was the gap, but it closed because this high overlaps that low. So the gap was closed. Okay. That's what I'm looking at there. But those wicks are crazy. And it closed closer to this support area of $87.99. It didn't quite make it all the way down to test the 200-day simple moving average. Do the SP or NQ have any effect on price of Has? I'm going to have to look into those. Are those tickers? I don't know if those are tickers or not. Do the SP or the NQ have any effect on the price of Hasbro? So break that down for me. Explain that to me, and then I can give you my opinion. And then it trades below the 9. It's still trading below the 9-day simple moving average. So it's right between those. So I'm seeing this as possible resistance, the 9-day simple moving average, and the 87.99 as support. And then also the 200-day simple moving average. It just came through. Let me see. NASDAQ and the S&P 500. To be honest with you, me personally, how I try to look at the individual company, I try to focus on that individual financial instrument, but we're looking at specifically stocks. So I like to look at that company and then work my way inside out. Some people like to look from the outside in, like how you asking. They look at the NASDAQ, they look at the S&P 500, they look at the broader market, and then they work their way down to the company that they're trading or investing in. Me personally, that didn't work for me, and that doesn't work for me. I don't like it. Me personally, I like to work from that company out. How it actually affects it, it could be anything that's going on in the market, and there's so many different variables. To me, it's more noise than anything, because if a price is going down, let's say whatever that instrument is, if the price is going down, all people are really looking for is a story that's negative that justifies the price going down. It doesn't matter what the story is. It just have to be negative because that makes sense to people. Okay, yeah, that story makes sense. It's negative, so negative means down, positive means up. So to me, it's noise, because there's always going to be some type of story or something going on here and something going on here and something going on there. So I do like using the heat map, looking at the industry or the sector. But as far as the question you asking, I think we can find, or I find, more information relevant to that investment by looking at that investment, by looking specifically at that company, if that makes sense. He said, okay, that's okay. So here's that's an awesome response. Thanks. Never looked at it like that. I'm a NAS and S&P 500 trader and often look for positive correlations. Got it. Okay. Got it. I'm glad that was helpful to you, and I'm glad it didn't seem like I was beating around the bush. I'm just glad I answered it. But thank you, man. I'm glad that I'm helping you out and you're learning from this, man, because that's what I struggled, man. I struggled. I lost. I got some interviews on here where I tell more about my story, man, but I lost my way to learning how to actually pay attention and look at certain stuff and take time to educate myself first. Like following other people's ideas and leads, for me personally, that caused more damage than good. Like actually learning how to look at things myself, I'm seeing way better results doing it that way. That's why I wanted to create this community and show how I see things, and to make it where people can comment and share their comments and share their ideas and show what they've been looking on. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel too. I appreciate it. So we can find something authentic, because I just feel like some of these, I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but from my experience, when I've seen the content creators that talk about the stock market and investing, they do not prioritize the education part because it's not sexy. It's not fun. They want to show their profits. They want to talk about the money. They want to talk about the trips, but they don't want to talk about the work. But that's where success comes from. It comes from the work. I don't care if people aren't attracted to my content because I'm not flashing money. I don't care, because I know that's not going to actually help people, because that's not what helped me. So that's where I'm at with what I'm doing. But man, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's easy to get lost in price action. It is. And J Rock, appreciate the comment too. I appreciate that you still tuning in as well. So yeah, it's about learning, man. So I think we covered everything with this. We did the volume, I believe so. And they do pay a dividend. So here's where the dividend is on the charts. They pay 70 cents. Okay, so let's cover the winner. That's what we didn't cover yet. We good with Hasbro. So let's go to Market Watch, go to quotes. So we went to the Market Watch tab, went to the quote sub tab. Let me put the winner on the screen. So I'm going to go right here and switch this column, the percentage change column, to the winner. So the winner today is ticker UAL, United Airlines Holdings Incorporated. And I didn't mean to pull up their website yet. All right. So they had a percentage gain of 9.99%. Their previous close was $89.12. They closed today at $98.02. So let's do a hypothetical. Let's pull up the calculator. So let's say somebody invested $1,500. Let's use some bigger numbers. And somebody got that 9.99% gain. We hit the percentage. They would have gained $149.85 on their $1,500 investment. So that would have been the principal. This $149.85 is the ROI, the return on investment. Add the principal to it, which was $1,500 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So the total investment would have grown to $1,649.85. Bada boom, bada bing. Now let's select UAL and go over to the Analyze tab. And now we can see that they are in the industrial sector. So if you've ever wondered, where are the transportation things listed in the sectors? It's in industrials. So we're about to go check that out now. So we're going to go over to the Market Watch tab, go back to Visualize. We're going to go to the S&P 500. We're going to drop this, condense this, and we're going to go to industrials. So we're in the industrial sector, and we're looking for bright green. So you can see it down here in the corner. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to go to, it looks like passenger airlines. Let me take me off the screen because it looks like I'm blocking it. So take me off the screen, go down here to passenger airlines. There we go. Bam. So here's the industry. So this is Delta Airlines, this is Southwest Airlines, and this is United Airlines. And it looks like that industry, just like the question that you asked about the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, when we're looking at industries, working our way from the inside out, now we can see that this industry is doing well as a whole. And then when we back out, when we go to the industrial sector, we can see that now some of those are red. So you see, if I'm using that, now it's confusing because now it's red and now it's green. It's a whole bunch. And then you zoom out some more. So we go backwards. We zoom out even more. We go back to the whole S&P 500. You see, you have a whole bunch of noise. It gets more confusing the bigger you look coming from the outside in, from my opinion. This is like an example of that. So let's go to the Analyze tab. And let me take me off the screen. So United Airlines Holdings Incorporated, here's their website, and the website is also listed in the description for your convenience for you to browse over it. Let's read a little bit of this description and we can visit the website. United Airlines Holdings Incorporated, through its subsidiaries, provides air transportation services in the United States, Canada, Atlantic, the Pacific, and Latin America. It transports people and cargo. This is something that people overlook. They just think about people traveling. They ship goods on those planes through its mainline and regional fleets. Okay, so let's visit their website. Here we go. Bam, we're already zoomed in. Man, we got 13. Man, this is the highest I've ever had people tuning in. Y'all about to make me cry. Man, please hit that like button. I've been working hard over here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you're learning what we got going on over here. So let's browse over this. So we're going to browse over this homepage, and as I see stuff we're going to look at and we're going to dive into, I'll point that out to you, but I believe it's going to be at the bottom. Okay, so find travel inspiration, hemispheres, explore San Francisco on a budget. And then I don't know if you guys was paying attention, like Spirit Airlines. I hated the fact that when Spirit went bankrupt and canceled their operations and all that other thing, everybody act like that came out of nowhere. Guys, they were a penny stock. They had filed bankruptcy twice. That didn't come out of nowhere. I believe they filed bankruptcy in 2024 and 2025. Fact check me on it. Don't quote me. But I know that they filed twice recently, and they were trading as an OTC, over-the-counter penny stock. So if you're working for a company like that, that's you might need to be looking for another job while that's happening. That means they standing on one leg and a banana peel. That ain't good. So we down at the bottom. Let me take me off the screen because I see where we're going to go. So we're going to go to About United. We're going to go to careers, and it looks like this takes us to a whole nother website to do that. I don't see investors information here. So maybe it will come up on the careers page or the About United. So let's just go ahead and start clicking. Here's investor relations. Good. So that's the investor relations. We're definitely going to go there. And let's go ahead and get this started. So we know what they're doing. We already looked at it. Let's just go to careers and see if we can find the benefits. Let's keep this moving. We know they transport people and cargo. We don't need to make that complicated. Just got a comment, I believe. I heard something. I don't know. All right, zoom this back in. All right, so we're looking for the benefits. That's what I'm looking for over here. So zoom in, want to see how well they take care of their employees. That is a representation of the company, okay? If a company doesn't take care of its employees, those employees don't take care of the customers. Think about it like that. So to protect your investment, you want to make sure that that company does a great job of taking care of their employees. That's how I see it. That's how I see it, okay? So careers, home, jobs, working at United. We're probably going to have to click on that if it don't jump out at us. Let me put me back on the screen. I didn't even know I wasn't up there. That's what I was pointing at my head. Y'all didn't even see it. So be the first to apply, feature job opportunities, benefits, don't see it, join, explore your future, corporate, digital technology. So these are the different departments, career departments that they need employees for. I love when they show maps, because if you wanted to relocate and go somewhere else, they show you where they have different job opportunities all over the world. I think that that's very powerful. So people and culture, benefits, bam, we got it. So let's go to explore benefits. Let's go there so we can get an idea. Sometimes these companies are vague. Sometimes they give good detailed descriptions. Sometimes they don't. But we're about to find out how United did. So let's scroll down. They look happy. All right, be the first. Wait a minute. I know we clicked it. This looked like the same page. Be the first to apply, feature jobs. Wait a minute. Nah, this make me feel like I'm tripping. Benefits. Explore benefits. Guys, it looked like it's taking us to the same page. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a glitch. So that wasn't me. So let's close this out. Let's close this out and go to the investors relations. About, here we go. Bam. All right. So we're about to get ready to go to charts and do the technical analysis. Let's zoom in. 150. Okay. So they trade on the NASDAQ. That's the ticker symbol to close. Here's some stats that they have about the company. The stock quote is up at the top. So I'm gonna browse over this page and then we're gonna go back to the top and get the stock quote information. Remember, if I'm moving too fast, the links for these websites are down in the description for your convenience. All right. So let's go back to the top. Bam, stock quote and chart. And they have other tools there as well. So here's where we find it. There's our stock quote. Sometimes it takes a minute for these stock charts to load up. I've been noticing this lately, and some of these charts look the same with the different companies that we pull up. So I don't know if it's an outsourced service that they're using to get this stock chart data to implement into their websites, but for some reason it's been delayed, guys. So I don't want to take too long. See, I tried to talk to you to keep it going, so it took a minute to pop up. So there we go. All right, so we're done with that. Let's go ahead and go to the chart. So Thinkorswim, we have UAL pulled up. So let's go to the charts. Now we're looking at a 1 year daily chart for United Airlines. Okay, this is a big bullish green candle right here. So this is today. That's a great move to the upside. So it also crossed the 9-day simple moving average. It fell short of the 200-day simple moving average, but it got above. It definitely got above it closed above the low of high day, the Cajole pattern. It closed above the high of the low day, which was this day right here. Did I miss the NVIDIA analysis? Yes, you did. It was at the beginning of the show. I did it, but it was at the beginning of the show. It was at the beginning. So just go back to the beginning of the live stream so you can check out the analysis for NVIDIA. So let me put this back on the screen, the winner. Okay. So let's go to the 10-year weekly chart. So they have a 10-year low of $17.80 and a 10-year high of $119.21. So what I'm going to do, we're going to look for some support and resistance. This is kind of wild, guys. This is kind of like all over the place. So I'm gonna focus on the most recent price action, because like going back this far, it's kind of wild. This is a tight range right here. I'm going to say this over here is like consolidation, and that was happening that happened like over a year. And then after that consolidation, I think that was distribution, because it plummeted after that. Then it did a slight recovery. I wouldn't even say slight. It recovered a little, but it failed to touch this 200-week simple moving average. And it started trending down again. But if I'm looking at this, I'm going to say for 3 years, it was like it was consolidating. That's what I'm seeing. And then after that consolidation, it was accumulation. And then it took off. That's what I'm seeing when I'm reading this chart, looking at the 10-year weekly. Okay. And I'm going to use these candles, because they're the most recent, to find my price levels. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's zoom in on that area. I heard the comment. Give me a second. Okay, I'll rewind later. Cheers, bro. Awesome. Thank you. So let me put this back. And got you. All right. So for my technicals using the weekly, I'm going to say this is going to be a zone. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying it's a zone, because we can see that these areas, these candles, these wicks don't all come down to the same spot. So I want to catch all of these. So the way I want to catch them, I'm going to use that and I'm going to extend it. So that's the rectangle tool, just in case you didn't know what that was. And then I'm going to use this to extend it. I'm going to take this over to December 1st. Bam. Then I'm going to take this back to January. Is that going to be back far enough? I don't think so. We need to go back to 2024. So 2024, January 1st. There we go. So now with me using that zone instead of a price level, we can touch more of the candles. You see how it touches more of those weak candles by using a zone instead of just using a price level. That's why I used a zone. If I had just used the price level, just for an example, let me show you how to do this. So we go, wait a minute. We use the price level, it would have just been this. Okay, and then I'm gonna remove this zone for a moment. Remove drawing. See, now it's not touching as many candles as the zone did. That's why I used a zone. So let me put it back. There we go. Now we're gonna delete these. Bam. Now we're looking for resistance because this week, this is where we are with the candle for this week. So we're looking for resistance. We need to figure out where it might find trouble at. So I'm seeing that it had resistance here and it had resistance here. Some of these in here, I don't even think it really touched it like that over there. So like a buffer zone. Absolutely. Yes, like a buffer zone. So instead of trying to be accurate, like specific, putting a zone there or a buffer zone is like a catch-all, gives you more room instead of trying to be, because remember, we just doing technical. Nobody knows for sure. So to give ourselves room for error, but keep it tight is better than just trying to use a price level if it's not touching enough candles. That's what I learned from technical analysis. My book is not by me, so I want to show you this book real quick. Hold on one second. So here's the book that helped me learn. This book right here. Japanese Candlestick Charting Techniques by Steve Neeson. Okay? He has 3 books, but this is where I'm getting this stuff from. That's where you can learn it at. All right? So let's go here. Now, what I'm looking at as far as resistance, this is what I'm seeing for resistance. So we're about to be done. You see, we got multiple candles touching that price level. You got a couple touching it here, even though this week right here didn't quite make it, but it's close enough. So that's our resistance level, $109.11. We got the support zone and we got the support level at $84.70. That's what I'm seeing for the technicals. Let me put this back on the screen. I didn't know I didn't do that. What's happening? I got it. Wait a minute. I got something going on. There we go. All right, put the ticker back. All right. So we can go to the 1 year daily chart and we can see this was today's candle. So it's trading above the 9-day simple moving average and below the 200-day simple moving average. And now we can see our technical levels. And if we wanted to add another resistance, I would say it's going to be, and that would be another zone. We could do another zone as well, like between this high of this candle and the high of that candle. But we a little pressed for time, so I'm gonna move a little faster, okay? So let's get the stock quote for United Airlines cut on the floating data box. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right. There we go. So mouse over that candle. Now, United Airlines opened today at $90. They had a high of $98.63. They had a low of $89.24. And they closed today at $98.02, which was a trading range of $9.39. When we look at the trading volume, they traded 9 million shares of their stock today. Now we're going to look at the volume labels to incorporate volume into these technicals. So here we go. The average trading volume for United Airlines is about 6.5 million shares in a daily trading session. And the volume for today, we already talked about, is 9 million. Tuesday's volume was 6.3 million shares of this stock was traded on Tuesday. So that was a little bit below average on Tuesday, and we can definitely see that the volume is increasing. Put me back on the screen, so we're done with that. Steve is great. His info was on my... Steve is great. His info was in my TA diploma course back in 2010. Got it. Technical analysis course. Got it. I was kind of lost. I forgot I showed the book. Steve is great. Is great. His info was in my technical analysis. Is that what that stands for? Technical analysis diploma course back in 2010. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think I stumbled across the video or did some research because a lot of the candlestick books I was finding sucked. Like they were terrible. They were terrible. And I was so glad to find an actual book that was helping me, that actually broke the stuff down. Like it's so much money in just selling the books. Like it's not about them working. It's just a profitable business because so many people want to know how to trade. So they really don't try to make sure that the books work or are of a true value. They just want to put the book out because they know people gonna buy it. So like the charts, I bought so many trading books and it was crazy. But one of the main indicators that I could tell if a book is good or not is just by looking at the charts. If you can't read the charts, you can't make out what the chart's going on, it's not gonna do you no good because that's what they explaining through the book. Yeah, bro, there are so many ways to look at price. Yes, absolutely. And it's in the eye of the person that's doing the technical analysis. One person might see something totally different. They might see something totally different. So we did that. We talked about the volume, but I don't think I did the volume rank percentile. Put me back on the screen. I did. Okay, so days above, only 33 days had higher volume than today out of the most recent 252 trading days. Now, when we look at the volume rank percentile, the volume rank percentile is 86.9%, which means today's volume was higher than 86.9% of the most recent 252 trading days volume. Now, there was something I believe I missed, so I'm gonna cover that right now. And that is the biggest winner research for United Airlines, okay? So here's what I found in my research about this company. United Airlines, ticker UAL. When it comes to their goods and services, they provide domestic and international air transportation services for passengers and cargo, offering operations such as commercial passenger flights, air cargo and freight transport, regional carrier operations, and frequent flyer reward programs. And looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, notable names include JP Morgan Chase, ticker JPM, Marriott International, ticker MAR, and Boeing, ticker BA. All right, bam. Point and figure charts are my favorite chart. Favorite LT style. I've heard of point and figure, and I've looked at different ones, but I would have to look it up to remind myself of what they look like. And then I have to look at that. To LT. Man, thank you guys so much for tuning in and all of your comments. We about to get ready to wrap up tonight's show. You guys have been awesome. You just don't know. The consistency of doing these live streams every night is really starting to pay off, and I'm so glad I didn't quit. You guys mean more to me than you know. Just showing up, and even if you said I don't like it, at least it tells me something. You know what I mean? So, oh man, and then I'm doing this, helping me with my trading and investing because this forces me to do my screen time when I'm doing the live stream. So you guys, man, you guys are awesome. Long-term X's and O's. Got it. I remember it now. Yeah, I remember it now. The X's and O's on the charts. I remember that now. I have seen that. Point and figure. Got it. It look like tic-tac-toe. They stack them. I know what you're talking about. Got it. So you already know. I don't think I pulled that up on the screen. So let me let people see what you said. There we go. So let's get ready to wrap it up. Oh, and since you guys are here, guys, please help me out. I'm since you're here and you guys are responding, I need 100 followers over on my Original Greatness. I Am Original Greatness Facebook page for my business. I need 100 followers in order for me to unlock the live streaming feature on Facebook. If you guys could be so kind and just go over there and follow that channel to help me reach that goal of 100 followers, I would definitely appreciate it. Please and thank you. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I've done 2 interviews with up-and-coming content creator Tiara Owens, sharing how I got started investing in the stock market, my profits and losses, and a link to that playlist of interviews are down in the description. And make sure you tune in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.